Photo News, South Canterbury's photographic newspaper. Fortnightly issue number 11 on the 2nd of May 1984. Decorating the harbour like butterflies over a pond. These Optimus class yachts have added colour to Timaru's seaside over the summer months. Somewhere in this cluster of yachts are two Timaru's leading exponents of the Optimus class. Gavin Calvert is the top Optimus class skipper in the South Island at present, and Gavin Brady has just won the club championships for the 9 and 16-year-olds. Many young people are being attracted to the sport, with the overall level of skill growing each year. Photo by Gus Bishop and sponsored by Dominion Breweries Limited. DB South Island Breweries Limited. Washdike, Timaru. Cool, refreshing, today's great drink. Dominion Bitter, Beer, Vita Stout, Double Brown, Waitemata, Lager, DB Export Lager, and DB Draft Beer. Photo News, issue number 11, page 2. Kids, kids and more kids. One of the attractions at Easter were the Hot Rod Club's display of well over 100 hot rods at both Washdike and Pleasant Point. Looking over a tea bucket hot rod is Nigel Cornerford. Logan and France Angus survey the contents of a bag of popcorn while perched on farm machinery at the Fairleigh Show. City folk enjoy the friendship of a cat and a dog, but Dougal Smith and Margaret Austin find their South Suffolk Peeble a great pet and a prize winner as well. Peeble won first prize in the pet sheet competition at the Fairleigh Show. The page was sponsored by Wallace and Cooper Limited of Timaru. Photo News Show. Record gate takings and perfect conditions at the Mackenzie Country AMP show made it a show to remember. Top. Mr. Sid Simpson waves an arm and a leg as his dog Boy goes through his paces at the show during the dog trial event. This 3-year-old lad felt he couldn't wait any longer to answer the call of nature. Displaying style and precision in the horse jumping events are on the left Virginia McCole and on Eagle Rock, and below is Vicky Simpson of Glencoe. Photo News and photograph orders. If there's a photograph from this or any of previous issues that you would like to buy, then give me a ring. Sharon Bishop, receptionist. The page was sponsored by Pinegall Guinness Limited of Timaru. Coming over to page 4 of Photo News, issue number 11. The drums and pipes working together in unison. Drummer Janice MacDonald is a member of the Mackenzie Highland Pipe Band. Always an attraction at the show is the axemen and their razor-sharp equipment, and the axemen at the Fairleigh Show were no exception. On the left, Dave Laurie of Timaru, and at the top, Norm Wilson of Geraldine. Having a few problems during the Grand Parade at the Fairleigh Show is a gentleman whose name was not obtained, as we thought he had enough on his plate wrestling with this problem. The page was sponsored by South Canterbury Finance. Tim Underdown was the manager then, and Kevin Clogue the credit manager. Butterfield's Furniture Manchester department also sponsored the page. We're looking at page 5 of Photo News issue number 11. Photo News People. The Steam and Country Fair took many members of the public back in time over Easter at Pleasant Point. At the top, a thresher driven by a traction engine, and above, Mr. Fred Hoare sewing bags the hard way. A large number of tap dancers competed in the Timaru tap dancing competitions over the weekend. The mainly female entrants displayed a high degree of talent and proficiency. Above is Shelley Edwards of Timaru, who won the Shears Local Trophy for 12 years and over. Between 400 and 500 Jehovah's Witnesses assembled in Timaru over Easter for the semi-annual circuit convention. The principal speaker at the convention was Mr. Hans Hubler, the district supervisor for Jehovah's Witnesses in New Zealand. Local speakers taking part in the program included Messrs. Keith Todd, David Stonier, Claude Gibbs, Paul Croken, Robin Shears and Vernon Holdaway of Timaru, as well as the convention manager, Ken Lindsay of Temuka. Featured at the convention was the water baptism and ceremony. People baptised by local immersion had been studying the Bible for several months and were ready to make a positive expression in the desire to live and serve as Jehovah's Witnesses. Here is Mr. Graham Coling of Timaru is helped out of the water by Mr. Grant Field. The page was sponsored by McGovern Master Chill and Olaf's Business Computers. Issue number 11, Photo News, page 6. Photo News Favourites. Sir Robert Muldoon with Mr. R.H. Kerr in issue number 9. David Mackenzie, Gary Allen in issue number 9. South Canterbury basketballer Robert Watson, issue number 11. Mr. Graham Mackay of Geraldine, issue number 1. Brent and Dale Hanna, issue number 7. Roaring Forties, not previously published. Page 6 was sponsored by Thompson's Refrigeration Services Limited and Smith Wholesale Groceries. Also owns Wholesale Market of Waimati. On page 7 of Photo News, issue number 11, we have more photo people. Held last week at the traditional ANZAC services with both a dawn parade and a citizen service in the RSA grounds. Laying wreaths at the citizen service are from left, Mr. N. Taylor and Sergeant R. Wee, members of the Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment. Below, RSA President A.C. Rankin and the Mayor of Timaru, Mrs. H.L. McIver. Home computers are becoming a necessity in the one world, and many parents are realising that for children to obtain a job in the future, an understanding of computers will be essential. At a seminar held by a local electrical retailer at Timaru Boys High School recently, over 100 interested parents and children attended. The team answering the many questions are Phil and Steve Keenan, Mark Varco, all from Auckland, and Alan Brio. The page was sponsored by Maxshaw Menswear, Langley's Traditional Style Butchery, and Stan Brio's. Photo News album with all the weddings in that. On the left are Richard Scarlett were married at St Albans Church, Pleasant Point. They extend their warmest thanks to their parents and friends for making their wedding such a happy day. Photo by Tim Hawkins. On the right, Alistair and Rachel Woodley were married at Craighead Chapel. Rachel and Alistair wish to thank all those close friends and family for the making of their wedding day such good fun. Photo by Tim Hawkins. At the bottom, Alice and Hestel Ehrlich were married at St John's Church, Pleasant Point. Alison and Hassel's wedding was a tremendous celebration and one which they'll sincerely thank their family and friends. Photo by Tim Hawkins. The page was sponsored by Howard's Cane Furniture, Paul Christie's, Merv Adams Shoes. Placemakers Timaru also sponsored the page, along with Fraser's Jewellery and Mackenzie and Willis. Turning to page 10, Photo News Sport. The South Canterbury rugby team and too powerful for Horowhenua last week when the local side scored a convincing 30-10 victory. Top are Steve McAtamney, breaks away from a maul while above Steve Tarrant is just about ready to unload the ball. The page was sponsored by Murray Parker Sports World, Wayne Hill Yamaha and Wilson's Lawn Mowing Services, along with Ashley Electronics. Page 11, Photo News Sport. Microlights of all shapes and sizes took to the skies at Waitowi during Easter weekend. Above, young Jason Essler found himself in the right place at the right time and gained the thrill of a lifetime when he went for a ride in one of these incredible machines. The pilot is Mr. Arch Haddo. On the right, Mr. Noel Dennison of Timaru and his MX Microlight. If anyone is interested in flying one of these machines, then phone Noel Dennison, 637D Temuka, in the evenings. Tug-of-war contestants from Canterbury and Otago got together at the weekend at the DB Tavern for one of the first competitions of the season. Top, Sandra Mattingly, pulling for the Cowgirls. Above, a member of the DB team known as Ohopi. Talented young Timaru wrestler Brent Landreth prepares for his most challenging competition to be held in Melbourne, Australia this month. The page was sponsored by Enting Real Estate and Mrs. Zona Mitchell and Grant Workman. We're now looking at Wheels and Motor Market. Pike Suzuki Centre on this page, along with Lawrence Gear Motors Limited, Noble Auto Services Limited, Hanson's Tyre Services, and Northbound Motors Limited, Hilton Highway, Washdyke. News. Issue number 11, page 14. Names, Faces and Places. Timaru wrestler to compete in Australia. Brent Landreth, a 14-year-old wrestler from the Orangi Wrestling Club, will soon be competing in the biggest ever competition. Brent will be the only New Zealander to compete at the Australian Schoolboy Champs to be held in May 12th and 13th. Brent says the Champs will provide the toughest competition to date and he has been keenly aware of this for some time. To stand him in good stead, his training programs have been intensive, both at home and with his coach, Mr. John Farmer. He is feeling enthusiastic about his trip to Melbourne, as is his parents will be accompanying him. Since 1980, when Brent started wrestling, he has been placed first or second in every event he has entered. Last year, he won the North Canterbury Highland Games South Island and New Zealand titles in both his weight and age group. He also won the New South Wales Schoolboys Championship held in Wollongong. Brent has a full itinerary in May, as he will be competing in the South Island competitions in Mosgiel on the 22nd. This page was sponsored by Bishop Campbell & Co. Stock and Share Brokers. Collage, Marie McMullen is the proprietor there. Temuka Chainsaws, Albury Tavern, O'Loughlin's Furniture, Margaret's Music Centre, Ashbury City Centre, Ashbury Gift Centre, Mangus Printing Limited, Allied Alarms, Sir Basil Arthur, Vote Labour, Canterbury Interiors Limited, for organ demonstrations, Northdown Organ Sales, for stunning styles this winter, Stafford Scissors, Specialty House, the second-hand shop, and Trim Netwear of Fairley. Photo News, page 15. More people. Stu Barclay and Rod Cope Williams were only two of many hundreds of duck shooters who headed for the favourite spots on opening morning. The opening few days of the season has been described as successful, with many full bags reported. The DJ Cornelius family reunion was held in Timaru over Easter weekend, with family members attending from as far as Waipukurau, Wellington, Blenheim, Christchurch and South Canterbury towns. The tree started back in as far as 1870 in Scotland, where DJ Cornelius' father and mother were married at Glasgow. His parents left Glasgow on April 6, 1874 and arrived in Littleton on July the 3rd on a sailing ship called the Dunedin. They settled at the Selwyn area and had 10 children, of which DJ was one. His father was also DJ Cornelius. He married Elizabeth Breeding of Mead and has sons and a daughter. He farmed at Hilton for a number of years, and the children are James David, Robert Forrester, Herbert Wallace, Albert Paul, William Breeding and Joyce Elizabeth. This page was sponsored by the Green Pepper Restaurant, Highfield Fish Supplies, Community Notice Board Timaru Police Station, Dove Print Limited, Tisco's Computer Services, and Radio Caroline. Photo News, page 14. Photo News, issue number 11, page 16. Family Fun. Andy Cap, Spot the Changes, Believe It or Not, a crossword puzzle, and a message. Photo News, farewell. Photo News has been published to provide a need in the community by promoting the sporting and recreational activities for a number of organisations who would not normally have access to such publicity. Photo News has also been providing local information and entertainment service for the majority of South Canterbury people, some of whom may not have been able to afford the fortnightly cost of a daily newspaper. Photo News is most grateful to South Island Dominion Breweries, who have sponsored the full-colour sporting photograph on the front page of this issue. With their support, Photo News has created history by becoming the first South Island-owned newspaper to publish a full-colour photograph. This photograph, along with other photographs and advertisements, have been samples of what Photo News can do in promoting the activities of a community. Due to recent increased production costs, Photo News sought the need to appeal to the public for voluntary subscriptions. The public response to the appeal has been encouraging, but the funds received cannot and will not be used without cooperative advertising support from the business community. Unfortunately, Photo News has been unable to attract a sufficient number of advertisers who are prepared to advertise on any long-term regular basis. Without a long-term advertising base, Photo News has no option but to say farewell South Canterbury and close down its fortnightly publication. However, its registered name, Photograph Newspapers Limited, will live on and may one day reappear to publish yet another Photo News which will be more acceptable in our ever-changing world. Staff farewell. Dear readers, we would like to thank the advertisers and subscribers for helping us to promote Photo News. Our thanks go out also to the many thousands of people who have been subjects to our cameras, and especially to those who have purchased photographs from us. We would also like to thank the amateur and professional photographers who supplied us with some of their work. A special thanks also to the staff of Dove Print, Mangos Printing, Priest Printers and the Oamaru Mail for their cooperation in helping us to produce the quality and meet the deadlines of our publication. Last but not least, we must thank all the children and their mums and dads who have spent many enthusiastic hours folding Photo News for delivery into your letterboxes. Thank you for South Canterbury. We are very sorry we are unable to continue providing you with a fortnightly publication, but trust our small number of copies have given you as much pleasure as they have given us in creating them. Gus Bishop, photographer; Ron, sales manager; Sharon, receptionist; Rose, the graphic artist. There they are, the last issue of Photo News in 1984. Photo News farewell. Photo News has been published to provide a need in the community by promoting the sporting and recreational activities for a number of organisations who would not normally have access to such publicity. Photo News has been providing a local information and entertainment service for the majority of South Canterbury people, some of whom may not have been able to afford the fortnightly cost of a daily newspaper. Photo News is most grateful to South Island Breweries who have sponsored the full-colour sporting photograph on the front page of this issue. With their support, Photo News has created history by becoming the first South Canterbury-owned newspaper to publish a full-colour photograph. This photograph, along with other photographs and advertisements, have been samples of what Photo News can do in promoting the activities of a community. Due to recent increased production costs, Photo News sought the need to appeal to the public for voluntary subscriptions. The public response to the appeal has been encouraging, but the funds received cannot and will not be used without the cooperative advertising support from the local business community. Unfortunately, Photo News has been unable to attract a sufficient number of advertisers who are prepared to advertise on any long-term regular basis. Without a long-term advertising base, Photo News has no option but to say farewell South Canterbury and close down its fortnightly publication. However, its registered name, Photograph Newspapers Limited, will live on and one day will reappear to publish yet another Photo News which will be acceptable in our ever-changing world. Staff farewell. Dear readers, We would like to thank the advertisers and subscribers for helping us to produce photo news. Our thanks go out also to the many thousands of people who have been subject to our cameras, and especially to those who have purchased photographs from us. We would also like to thank the amateur and professional photographers who supplied us with some of their work. A special thanks also to the staff of Dove Print, Mangos Printing, Priest Printers and the Timaru Mail for their cooperation in helping us to produce the quality and meet the deadlines of our publication. Last but not least, we must thank all the children and their mums and dads who have spent many enthusiastic hours folding photo news for delivery into your letterboxes. Last but not least, we must thank all the children. Thank you, South Canterbury. We are very sorry we're unable to continue providing you with our fortnightly publication, but trust our small number of copies have given you as much pleasure as they have given us in creating them. Yours sincerely, Ron, Gus, Sharon and Rose. P.S. All subscribers will receive a repayment of their subscription fees in due course. Please do not send any more subscription fees. Gus, photographer, Ron, sales manager, Sharon, receptionist, and Rose, graphic artist. Printed offset by the Timaru Mail.